everyone! So far we've only looked at Juken under the context of sealed play, pulling the decks out of the box, sleeving them up, and getting at it. But today, we're going to change gears. We're going to start looking at each fighter in the context of constructed play, starting with El Eterno. But before we start, the Kickstarter campaign for Juken is currently live, so if you like today's video and want to give Juken your support, link is in the description. EX El Eterno is a bit difficult to build with, as he needs 3 blue key in his key pool for Flying Vampiric Dive to be at full strength, meaning he can't go whole hog filling his arsenal with red or yellow cards. Instead, he must pepper his blue arsenal, using just what he needs to cover his weak spots while retaining enough blue cards to reliably have 3 blue key. From yellow, El Eterno can find a way to deal with mirror matches in yellow's ability to remove the opponent's exhaust. From yellow, El Eterno can find a way to deal with mirror matches in yellow's ability to remove his opponent's exhaust, which should go without stating, but is incredibly useful. Stop your opponent from extending the attrition war while you wage your own. You can do it with surprising leg sweep, inside leg sweep, and key disruptor. While key disruptor might seem like it will interfere with your own game plan by soaking up key if it hits, healing level 0 attacks you actually want to use in surprising leg sweep has its benefits. Blue in A1 doesn't really have a utility level 0 attack outside of back sweep kick. With all of that said, there is actually another reason to lean into a green EX El Eterno deck, Retribution Form 1. When paired with Rejuvenation Form 1, it now doesn't matter what happens with Forceful Ki Blast, you're gaining 2 hyper. Backsweep Kick now has a punishment for being blocked, and Key Disruptor gives you hyper regardless. Your hyper gain increases so much that you can feasibly launch Flying Vampiric Dive multiple times per fight. Yellow also offers El Eterno a really interesting tool for Forceful Ki Blast in A2. Forceful Ki Blast is the gift that really does keep on giving. So what about red? What does El Eterno gain from red? More than you'd think given how few red cards you'll actually be able to pack. Firstly, El Eterno can now cope with anything on the board by packing Impassioned Flying Knee. Yellow's debuffs can finally be answered. Yes, it costs key, but you're running red for key ramp while healing via blue. On top of that, Energetic Kick and Energetic Shooter Uke ramp key. Energetic Shooter Uke is great for purple decks like this because it can be healed via Forceful Ki Blast. Then through red's ability to shuffle attack cards back into the arsenal, you can filter it through the arsenal so it doesn't clump at the bottom. Speaking of shuffling cards back in, Keyflow Form 2 actually has more benefits to Keyflow Form 1, as it can be used to get very specific attacks back to match the pacing of the game, and as said, stop healing from clumping the arsenal. Whatever specific attacks you want back, they're easy to get back, especially with healing bringing back your key rampers. Said key rampers also making it easy for El Eterno to stockpile 3 blue key, and use the equalizer far more liberally. Use red key for general applications, hoard blue. While it's ultimately up to you how you choose to play El Eterno, stick to blue, go green, or go purple. All 3 have something valuable to offer. So what say you? How do you want to play El Eterno? Let's hear in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Hi everyone! Last week we talked about El Eterno in the context of constructed play, what he gets when he starts adding red or yellow to his blue arsenal, and this week we'll talk about Lucy in the same way. But before that, the Kickstarter campaign for Juken is currently live, so if you liked today's video and want to give Juken your support, link is in the description. In Juken, constructed play is a bit like alchemy for some characters, the law of equivalent exchange. This was by design. You give up something to gain something else, and this couldn't be more true of a fighter like Lucy, whose own identity is less tied to colour identity than other characters. She could stay red, go purple, or go orange, and they're all equally viable options, especially as the card pool expands with later sets. Red is also a little bit different to blue or yellow, in that red doesn't so much have a weak spot as its focus is limited. Lucy in blue is interesting as she has two viable choices for Carter cards. Lucy wants the most excitable girl in play as soon as possible. Adaptive Form 1 facilitates this by searching it out and replacing it should it get neutralized. But it's not like Lucy doesn't appreciate the hyper gained from Rejuvenation Form 1. More hyper means faster to hyperform and faster to drawing cards for advantage. What she gains from blue also depends on what card she goes for. On base, she just gains the ability to break through set cards and buffs via Backsweep Kick and the Equalizer. But should she use the same card as setup suggested for El Eterno, Red Keyflow Form 2 and Blue Rejuvenation Form 1, she can do what he does: heal Energetic Shudo Uke and shuffle her arsenal via Keyflow Form 2. Red naturally ramps Key, and when you look at how much Key she realistically would gain in a game, Rejuvenation Form 1 can either match or exceed Keyflow Form 1. So blue can help Lucy stay in the fight much longer, potentially reuse things more, and doesn't sacrifice hyper. But what about yellow? What does yellow give Lucy? Like El Eterno, she appreciates the exhaust removal, but it's a bit more important for Lucy than it is El Eterno. Where El Eterno wants to fight against mirror matches, Lucy uses it in a similar way to Taichi, but much more aggressively focused. Make damage permanent and stop recursion. She wants the same tools as El Eterno, potentially quick core strike as well, to make it harder for her opponent to heal out of damage and extend the game. Make it so she needs to hit them less times to end the game. However, it's not just that. She can use yellow to punish people attacking her via Backbuster. It might just be 1 damage here, 2 damage there, but it adds up. And unlike her own power modifier on Hyper Lucy, it's unpreventable. It happens when your opponent moves. It might not be as valuable as exhaust removal, but it is an option and one that can contribute to a game plan. Carter is very obvious in choice, as red can shuffle attack cards back into the arsenal, so opportunistic Form 1 isn't as useful here, being more important for mono yellow builds. Pair red Keyflow Form 2 with yellow Retribution Form 1. Go heavy on the hit effects. Punish your opponent for blocking, especially so once Lucy is Hyper Lucy and chip damage becomes a factor. Lucy is easily the most versatile fighter from A1, and with that, she can adapt to anything. Mono Red gives her more options as the game evolves, but look out for B1 a year from now, where she can copy Sparky's entire gimmick, then offer a similar but different experience. While yellow and blue give her equally viable options. Keep damage on and deprive your opponent of their more important cards, or deal with anything and live forever. So what say you? How do you want to play Lucy? Let's hear it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Hi everyone! For the past 2 weeks we've been looking at fighters in the context of constructed play, adding red or yellow to El Eterno, and blue or yellow to Lucy. In this final week talking about constructed play, we talk about adding red or blue to Taichi. But before that, the Kickstarter campaign for Hyper Juken is currently live. So if you liked today's video and want to give Hyper Juken your support, link is in the description. Taichi is more similar to El Eterno than he is Lucy for constructed play, but for different reasons. Where El Eterno is all about stockpiling blue key, Taichi's theming is localized to yellow, being removal. Saying that though, Taichi removes cards from the game himself as a reward for attacks inflicting combat damage, and this means yellow does more of what he does, making his payoffs faster, whereas Eloturno directly needs blue ki in his ki pool. One of Yellow's more interesting quirks is that, like Red, it actually likes using level 0 attacks for utility, not just as a means to build up ki, and because of this, Yellow can end up with quite a bit of ki at the end of a fight. With saying that, however, should Yellow put an emphasis on debuffs, a core part of its own identity, it can find level 2 attacks a bit cloggy due to ki management and game pacing. So with Taichi being so tied to Yellow, where does that put him? What does he actually gain from Red and Blue? Blue is interesting for Taichi in that it allows him to go harder into control in buff removal via backsweep kick and the equalizer. Backsweep kick also plays an interesting role with Taichi since it's a natural hit effect too, interacting with Retribution Form 1. Blue's healing isn't completely without merit either, giving Taichi a few more cards here and there, while Forceful Ki Blast, a staple in Blue for a while, offers a natural hit effect. While it means giving up opportunistic Form 1, you can also use Blue and healing to gain Hyper via Rejuvenation Form 1. Given how brutal Taichi's Demon Wind Slash is, pairing 2 Hyper gaining Carter cards is a pretty good move in and of itself. When all brought together, Blue offers Taichi the ability to put his opponent in a worse position by removing their buffs, having more sustainability, and more opportunities to use Demon Wind Slash. All good things, and as the game continues, he will gain things to support his green options. Red allows Taichi to go far more aggressive and focus harder on his own cont effect than the effects of cards in his arsenal. Every attack removes cards equal to half of its original power rounded down. Get more aggressive, stronger attacks hit, more removals. Not that natural exhaust removal isn't valuable, just as attacks get stronger, Taichi does the same job, so we can start replacing them with other cards. With that, Energetic Kick and Energetic Shudo Uke give Ki Ramp and are automatic includes, while Impassioned Flying Knee is great for dealing with your opponent's debuffs should that come up. The real question now is whether you should pack Breakthrough Strike or not, and that depends entirely on whether you're using debuffs or not. Remember that Flying Impassioned Knee is kind of like a debuff hitting, as they both cost you additional ki, but you can feasibly go 8 level 0, 16 level 1. The ki drain isn't so severe that it actually causes an issue for you should you pack a little ramp. On the topic of Carter, sticking to Retribution Form 1 for Yellow, but Red could go either way. If you really want to lean into Hyper Gain, Ki Flow Form 1. If you want to make sure certain things hit, or to keep using Sniper Beam, Ki Flow Form 2. In many ways, like how Lucy wants to keep using Energetic Kick and one of her big attacks, Energetic Kick and Sniper Beam is a very useful combination to shuffle back in via Ki Flow Form 2. Hyper or Ki and shuffle things back in, then confirm 4 damage, 2 removed and 1 Hyper. That helps win a game. Taichi is easily the fighter best suited to stay in their own colour from A1, but as we've seen today, Taichi can gain valuable things from Blue to help push him along, or shift his strategy significantly with Red, creating a more aggressive playstyle. So what have you? How do you want to play Taichi? Let's hear in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.